Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It's Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling match review. So, obviously we're continuing our look at WrestleMania matches, and this one is going to be an interesting one. The first ever Iron Man match, at least on pay-per-view, took place at WrestleMania 12. So what would happen when the Hitman took on the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels for the WWF Championship? Let's find out. I'm, of course, talking about Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12. Now, as always, I am not professional wrestling reviewer or analyst or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I would say I had a pretty good time watching this match. This match is very divisive when it comes to wrestling fans. There are a lot of people who love this match. There are a lot of people who hate this match, uh, and there's plenty of reasons, and we'll get into it more as we get into things. There are plenty of reasons on both sides that I can see, but a lot of people feel that this match is very overhyped and overrated, which it to an extent. Sure, but is it indeed worth the time and investment into watching? Let's find out. Now, of course, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works, or at least you have an idea of how this works. If you haven't, however, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match. And in terms of how we got here, Shawn Michaels won the 1996 Royal Rumble, becoming the second ever WF superstar to win back-to-back Rumbles. So he won the 1996 Royal Rumble match. And he also had to defeat Owen Hart at In Your House 6 in order to keep his WrestleMania title shot. So Shawn is definitively facing Bret here. Now, as for how exactly this became an Iron Man match, I was not able to find it on here. But yeah, so this match is made an Iron Man match, a 60-minute Iron Man match, meaning for an hour, both men will compete. Whoever gets the most amount of pinfalls or submissions, or the falls can happen with counter disqualification. Whoever gets the most official falls will be declared the winner. Now, this isn't the first Iron Man match in pro wrestling history, and it's not even the first Iron Man match in WWE history slash WWF history. This is the first one televised, the first official one on pay-per-view for the WWF, but they had done actually a bunch beforehand. Funnily enough, most of them involve either Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart. In fact, if I go down the list, all of these involve either Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart. And this stems back all the way to 1989. This is back when Shawn Michaels was still part of the Rockers alongside Marty Jannetty. Before Marty Jannetty's infamous act of cowardice. But Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, the Rockers, battle the Fabulous Rougeaus about 7 times around the house show circuit, and Bret Hart took on would face Ric Flair and or Owen Hart for and a lot of these also on the live event slash house show circuit. So it seemed like they very much workshopped it before bringing it officially to television and or in this case pay-per-view. Now that's not totally unheard of when it comes to the WWF. They've done that plenty of times. That's what they did for the Royal Rumble. In fact, it was the reason why the Royal Rumble almost didn't happen as a pay-per-view, because when they tested it out with the live audience wasn't receptive to it. And if they had not tried it again, we wouldn't have the Royal Rumble to this day. But yeah, workshopping that stuff around. And I believe they also did it with Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair facing off one on one, and which one become official on like pay per view until WCW. Yeah, so workshopping stuff to like house shows slash live events, essentially making them the guinea pigs. I believe they did something similar with like the concept of the ladder match. So Oh, it workshopped around, but this is the first official one on pay per view for the WWE, that at least slash WF at least, because as it turns out, WCW had something similar going on before then, and so back to back at Beach Blast, at the two Beach Blast events in 1992 and 1993, Ricky Steamboat took on Rick Rude, and then Dustin Rhodes took on Rick Rude in 1992 and 1993, respectively. And these were called the Iron Man Challenge, which is essentially the same thing. And these two were 30-minute Iron Man challenges. So this match is essentially double that length. So Oh, again, so I say all that to say, not an original concept, but this is the first official one on pay-per-view. So how they do for their first pay-per-view outing? Let's get right into it. Now, starting with what I liked about this match. Very good action throughout. For two men who couldn't stand each other, Shawn and Bret have really good chemistry, and they try to keep things going and they try to keep things evolving with different spots. At one point, Shawn on Ghost for Sweet Chin Music as Bret is sitting in a chair to catch his breath after being knocked to the outside. Bret moves out of the way, and Shawn just absolutely obliterates. I believe that's the timekeeper, but he absolutely obliterates the timekeeper, and they have to carry him out on a stretcher. Or between this and then like Bad Blood 1997, and watch out when Shawn Michaels is involved if you're a pedestrian or a member of the crew, because you probably will get wiped out. But Shawn takes him out. Jose Lothario, who is Shawn Michaels' trainer and who accompanies him to ringside, is taken out, but I believe by Bret in this match, and Shawn on dumped to the outside, and he is vaulted, it straight overhead vaulted to the outside, right, during one spot. It actually looks really nasty. Like Shawn bumps his head and everything, but stuff like that peppered throughout, and as well as the regular stuff in the ring between Bret and Shawn. I do like the continued story of Bret showing more of like an aggressive side, not being the usual Bret Hart, which they bring up on commentary quite a bit. Hit how this is very much like out of character for Bret, but Bret had throughout history has proven that he can go to like that. I don't want to say darker side, but can show some aggression and show a little more or of like rule bending without full on rule breaking, even though he doesn't really bend any rules. He's just showing more aggression. So Brett at seeing that, and then the other story is Shawn on completely flipping Brett's strategy on his head, because Brett's strategy, he going into the match in kayfabe, that is very contingent on Shawn's strategy of being very high flying around the ring, being very fast paced. But Shawn able to use a lot of that technical prowess is in order to really match with Bret. And they put that over huge on commentary. Like Shawn showing us the basics, like a lot of the grabbles and holds and stuff like that. So Shawn really switching up his strategy, which I think very much makes sense um to really combat Bret Hart, and to really throw off the game plan, and even in kayfabe to like throw off your opponent's game plan, because you think they're gonna do one thing, but they're instead gonna do this, and it does show that technical side of Shawn Michaels that he does very much have. Obviously, he's very much more known for like the high flying and the risk taking and everything, which Shawn still does throughout the match, um, indeed we do see some of the technical prowess of Shawn. So those two things combined, and those two aspects combined, Bret Hart's aggressiveness, including when he like totally backdrops Shawn's head right onto like I think it was like the middle rope, which it looked absolutely nasty. Also, every time I see that, I immediately think of Enzo Amore at Payback 2016, where he pretty much had a botch in the rope, and got a concussion, and something that he and Simon Gotch still have issues with it kind of to this day. But yeah, it looked very brutal in a lot of ways. But to see both these guys really go back and forth, I think was very well done, very well executed. No pun intended, of course, to the excellence of execution. And toward the end, with no points remaining, or no points gained from either man. The clock winds down when it goes 0-0. And I do like the closing spot of Bret locking in the sharpshooter, Shawn desperately trying to stay alive as 30 seconds is, or I think it's 40 seconds left on the clock. So Shawn really trying to stay afloat, really trying not to give in. And this was before her the time of tapping out or that was off screen, tapping out, something like that, to where the match could end. And this is before that. This is back when you had to do it verbally. So Shawn does tap out, but the match isn't officially over. But at that closing moment, and then the clock runs out. I think that was very well done. And then Gorilla Monsoon, who says the match will go to sudden death. And sure enough, Shawn, not one but two sweet chin musics in order to put away Bret Hart and win the WWF Championship for the first time. The boyhood dream has come true. The crowd are very much into it. They're very happy for Shawn, and they put it over in such a big way for Shawn. And it does lead to a very cool, very awesome moment for Shawn. But yeah, so really great in those aspects. And props to them, like I said, for managing to fill the time as best they could without it feeling too boring or bogged down. Like there's moments of respite, there's moments of catching the breath, but it doesn't feel like things are going slow all the time. In terms of what I didn't quite like as much about the match, though, it does feel like in a lot of ways they do have to fill for time. I'm a bit because a lot of the way they work or what they're working towards, I should say, in this match has to fit within that specific time limit, and then they have to manage to keep themselves going up until those final few moments, and then sudden death afterwards. Oh, uh, so it does feel like, in a lot of ways, they try to fill as best they can, and sometimes it works, sometimes it does grind to a halt. It's not agonizing. It's not super agonizing all the time, but you do notice it, and it does bring things to a halt a bit. And then also, oh wow, second match in a row. Where or not second match in a row. Oh, but I skip one over comparing to WrestleMania 19, where Jerry Lawler gets a bit insufferable on commentary, and he gets pretty annoying. This time it's Vince McMahon himself. This one, and Vince was still doing commentary before he officially became the Mr. McMahon character. So Vince has to listen to him the whole time, and it does get kind of grating. Throughout the match. But otherwise, yeah, that's going to do it for this match. Now, is it a good match? Does it live up to the hype, or is it in fact an overrated match? Admittedly, that's kind of tricky. I mentioned at the beginning that I can see both sides. For those who like this match, the action is very good, but you're gonna be hard pressed to find bad matches for either Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels, although they do exist. But you're gonna be hard pressed to find bad matches for either of those guys, and you're gonna be very hard pressed to find bad matches against each other that they have. But so the action was there, and then the story throughout was also there, and those elements mixed together, or as well as some of the kind of moment and that really keep things going, such as the timekeeper being taken out, such as Jose Lothario being taken out, and obviously things going into sudden death. That those elements do make for a very good match and a very good spectacle when it comes to this. However, or for those who don't like this match, it does feel like it drags on at some points. It is very much there to fill time. And yes, as there have been better Iron Man matches that they've put on since then. In fact, I probably should check some of those out at some point on the channel. I very likely will. So that aspect is one to keep in mind as well. Also, like I said, I can see both sides. Is it overrated? Kinda. Is it overhyped? Definitely kinda, but I get why they treat it as such a big deal. Well, because if you didn't show up for the house shows, if you don't know about the house show circuit, and you gotta remember this is a time when stuff like the internet wasn't really a thing, or not as much of a thing as it is nowadays. If you weren't really aware of that, then you probably didn't really know much about what an Iron Man match is and everything. So, oh, and this is for your top championship, and it involves two of your top stars. So I get why they build it up in such a big way. But I think they have also built it up since then to a bit of an almost ridiculous degree. It's gotten a lot of hype in retrospect as well, how talking about WrestleMania matches or like WrestleMania main events. And when it comes time for them to talk about like iconic WrestleMania matches or iconic WrestleMania main events, this match usually does get brought up. So I can see it from that perspective. And it even was the match representing WrestleMania 12 in the WWE 2K14 video game when it had the 30 years of WrestleMania showcase, which awesome showcase by the way, and awesome game. Thankfully, the game doesn't make you play the whole 60 minutes. Like, as you complete the objectives, the clock gets faster and faster as it winds down. So you don't end up playing the whole 60 minutes. If they put in the whole 60 minutes, I don't think there probably would be some people who would be down to play the whole thing, especially because, like I said, 2K14, excuse me, 2K14 was goaded, but it is good on them for not including the whole 60 minutes. But yeah, so I can see if you I can see why you might not like this match, and I could also see why you may like this match. Me personally, I dug it for the most part. Part for a lot of the aforementioned reasons, and I had kind of I don't want to say frustrations, but kind of my dislikes for some of those aforementioned reasons as well. But otherwise, I still think it's a very strong match to a very good WrestleMania main event, and it's not a bad match. Match is a very good match. Is it a great match? It kind of borders on that. Is it an all timer? That's up to you. I don't know if it's necessarily an all timer, but it is still a very good match in my opinion. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on those post notifications so you know every single time I upload a video, so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on this match and my review of the match. If you like the match, if you like my review of the match, let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.